Good morning, everybody, or good day. Happy Friday. So, guys, there's been some slight updates in the Twitch tragedy, and I wanted to talk about that because one of the things that left me pretty sad was that he didn't leave a note. Well, allegedly, that's what we thought, right? But more information has come out that he did, in fact, leave a note. So let's get into the details. Another detail that was discovered was that instead of walking to the hotel, like we initially were told by Daily Mail, there was clarification by the family that he actually took an Uber. So she possibly was able to now check his records, see, how he got there, and found out that he actually took an Uber to the hotel. And let's get into the letter. Unfortunately, guys, they didn't tell us the details of the letter was in it, but basically he left a self-conclusion note at the motel, alluding to challenges in the past and turned his phone to airplane mode before taking his life. So he did that in order to not be reached by anyone. So it's pretty sad, guys. He didn't want to be reached or called. And it appears as though he was gone for about a day. So so his wife was looking for him and frantic. And unfortunately, he was gone for about a full day before she went to contact authorities and ended up finding out that he had taken himself. That's so sad, guys. So some other details about it is that he talked about some challenges that he had been going through. And let's see, what else did they say here? Yeah, and so basically that's pretty much the details that they give us. This, how these reports are, they're so redundant with the same stuff. He switched his phone off. She tried calling, wasn't able to reach him. There was another clarification, guys, that there was no argument before this because people were speculating that there had been arguments, and she basically the wife came out and clarified that there had not been any arguments between them. He just, he just scheduled an Uber, went to the hotel, and took his life, unfortunately. He checked into room 249. That was the room where this tragedy occurred. TMZ was the one that broke this detail and released this article. Well, this is from Daily Mail, but they're the ones that actually broke the story, clarifying that there was a note. I still stick to my theory regarding those past challenges. He probably had an assortment of a lot of challenges, but I believe he took it hard when he lost the Ellen show. In fact, when Ellen posted this, let me see if I can play it for you guys. Is this the one that she posted yesterday? Yeah, she posted this video on her Instagram. And on the video, you could see how Twitch was very emotional about losing, the Ellen show leaving. And I'd say this is probably about the first time I've seen him cry, because I've never seen him cry. I really think, and of course, this man had been going through a lot of other challenges because celebrities deal with a laundry list of challenges. But this was probably the icing on the cake that kind of was the final straw for this poor soul. But let's get into this, guys. Hold on, let me remove the sound here so you can hear it.
Show. And I'm talking about you, Twitch. Come here. It's gonna get you. So I love you so much, and it's been an emotional week, and it's just a coincidence that your mom's here. Like we were going to do this, and then you told me your mom's here and your best friend's here, and so I just want to say this show is just what happened just now before we came back from break. We do those little tiny moments when we're singing a song, and you always make me smile and laugh. Anyway, we put a little something together just to say how much we all love you here.
What is something you would like to say to Twitch? Like, what has he meant to you?
Well, I don't want to say goodbye.
From the Warner Brothers Studios, here she is now, Ellen DeGeneres.
Did you have a good summer?
So I really wanted to show you that part of it, the part where you can see that he starts getting a little emotional. There's actually another video out there where he like full-fledged is crying. So I mean, that really to me showed me the gravity of the impact of him, you know, this career that he cherished and loved so much being taken from him. But as I talked about before, a lot of these celebrities, they deal with a laundry list of challenges, guys, a lot, and they hold it inside because the media, if the media gets a hold of this, it's plastered all over every news outlet, everywhere. And not only that, but this man was the backbone of his family. There is a lot of pressure on the man to be the provider, to be the strength, to be the foundation of their family. And of course, Twitch being that strong backbone man, I don't think he shared a lot of things that he had been going through with his wife. He just carried this smile around in front of her, and so she would have never known, you know. And that's the sad part about it, is a lot of the spouses will never know because of how they will wear this mask of strength, this pillar of strength. And I think that's really what he was doing in this tragedy. It's so very sad that he, you know, he couldn't find the strength, in my opinion, to reach out to his family and show his vulnerability. His father actually, or his grandpa, came out and spoke to Daily Mail, and he talked and he said there were no signs. He said there were no signs. Also, like I said, I don't think he shared it with anyone. I think this man really was the pillar of strength for his family. I think he was the backbone of strength for his family. And he kept a lot of that stuff inside, even to his very demise, the end of his day. When he wrote the letter, he did not specify exactly why he was doing it. He just said that he was dealing with challenges. He again, even when he ended it, he never specified, because he still wanted to have this pillar of strength, even though he couldn't carry on. Now, I need to share some with you because I've been seeing a lot of conspiracy theories out there. And then I'll get into another conspiracy theory that's going on. But it just frustrates me. That's why I go over these stories, because I want to be a voice for those who end their life in this tragedy. Because every time we see these tragedies, people refuse to acknowledge the pain of these individuals. And that is why we keep seeing them. People cannot seem to accept that individuals who have it all deal with depression. And so they're in the chats talking about, oh, there has to be more to the story. I smell foul play. It's like, oh my gosh, here we go again. This happened with the Chesley Chris tragedy. And I remember I was getting so much hate mail about, oh, it's somebody took her life and da-da-da. And I'm like, this is the problem now in our society. Everybody refuses to acknowledge the reality of people suffering. They can't seem to accept it. They think, oh, because he had it all, or because he was living in a big mansion, or he had, you know, the most hot, gorgeous wife, or had beautiful children, that just makes you happy. It doesn't. And that is not the foundation of happiness. And until people acknowledge this reality, we will continue to see more and more and more and more and more of these. And that's what's frustrating me. Sorry, guys, I'm getting a little emotional because I'm like, this is one of my deepest ministries, is speaking about self-conclusions. It is my deepest ministry. I feel that God has called me to do it. I didn't want to do it, and the Lord ministered to me to do these, to talk about them, to raise awareness, and to be a voice for these families who are suffering from the individuals who didn't feel like they had the strength inside to be able to share their vulnerabilities, to be able to share their pain. And the reason why is because of this situation we're dealing with, guys, is that people want to continually push these conspiracy theories. I know there is, and I understand that there's a lack of trust in law enforcement. especially as it relates to the Black community. So I get it. They might think that, oh, they didn't do their investigation well. They, clearly there's probably some type of conspiracy. There's more to the story. But look at the information we have. Look at the information. Look at his behavior. This man didn't take his vehicle. He took an Uber to a hotel. Clearly, he was trying to hide something. He packs a very small bag, not enough to even stay overnight. It's just like the small that just has like the information he could need to write this letter or whatever. Just small. You know what I mean? Then, within a matter of seconds or whatever, he goes in there and commits the act. There are surveillance cameras in the hotel area. Guys got to use your common sense out there. There's surveillance cameras. They check that stuff. Witnesses around. They would have known that someone else entered that hotel room. Don't you think? Don't you think? They checked all that stuff out. They test this man's hands for residue. The gun was there near this man's hand, allegedly. They look into this stuff. And it frustrates me, guys. I get emotional because I care so deeply about these tragedies, because these individuals felt like they didn't feel safe to share how they felt, especially this man here. He didn't feel safe because he wanted to be this pillar of strength. He always carried around this smile like everything was dandy when inside this man was suffering, and even his own wife didn't know. That's how bad it was. So it frustrates me. It's as if people, when they come with these conspiracy theories, and if you're a conspiracy theory person, please don't watch this video, because I'm going to come with the reality of it, okay? I'm not going to come with these conspiracies. Because the problem is, when you keep saying these conspiracies, in reality, it's like you're denying this person's pain all over again. This is the problem why they did what they did. Because everybody always wants to deny when someone's suffering, when someone's going through depression, when someone's going through pain or agony. They always want to deny it. And that's why people don't reach out, because you're not going to listen. You think just because this man had it all, that he just, no way he would do this. That's the problem. It's the illusion of thinking because you have things, or you have, the best wife, House Clark fame, that draws happiness. It does not. I have actually personally, from my own experience, talked to celebrities that celebrities that have all the things you can imagine. And they tell me that they're depressed, that they have a lot of worries and stress, that they're thinking about ending their life. And to my surprise, I was like, wow, like I would never imagine. This person's beautiful, has it all together. I'm not going to say their names because I'm not going to give their business out like that. But anyway, I have spoke personally to celebrities that really shocked me when they said that they were depressed. And I mean, they were in severe agony. It was like we were about to go on the show, and right before we get on the show, they're talking about how depressed they are and just how hopeless they feel, and all the worries of their life just came tumbling in, and they started thinking about it again, and they're feeling hopeless and they don't want to be here anymore. And you hear a lot of celebrities talk like that. We heard it from Meg Thee Stallion during this trial. We heard it from Cardi B. She talked about it. There's many others. Selena Gomez is talking about how depressed she is. Just because you have it all doesn't mean that's happiness. And we need to stop with these conspiracy theories, because don't you think law enforcement would have looked into that? I mean, this man is a famous man. They would dig all into their check surveillance cameras, witnesses around. They also, look at the crime scene itself. They check that stuff out. My goodness. I'm tired of the conspiracy theories. It's just like, here we go again. Every time there's a self-conclusion, there's people in the chat. There must be more to this story. That's the problem, guys. That's the problem. People keep denying the pain of these individuals. It's like you're literally mocking this man's death. He left because he was in complete pain. He felt unheard. He felt like he didn't feel safe to talk to anyone. And now in his death, he still doesn't feel safe because people keep denying that this man had pain. They're denying this man's struggle. Just because he smiled doesn't mean he was happy. Everybody smiles. That does not signify happiness. You could have a house, car, mansion. You could be driving in a limousine every day and still be depressed and alone, especially in the Hollywood industry. A lot of those people are alone. Even with the family and car and all that stuff, still alone. This man was struggling with a lot of things, okay? A lot. And it felt as though once that Ellen show ended, it was like the last icing on the cake. It feels like when I'm covering these self-conclusions, it seems as though there's a whole pile of things these people are going through. It's never one thing. It's like an assortment of just piled up years of pain. Sometimes people just do it because they lost their career and they can't take it. That's the one story we talked about with the principal. But most of these stories that I've covered, it's usually a long list of things. And then there's this one final thing that's piled on there that literally takes this person off into the ether, and they lose all form of hope, and they stop fighting because they don't feel safe, because nobody wants to acknowledge these people's pain. It's frustrating me. My gosh. This is the problem in our society. No one believes that people suffer. No one believes that people are going through pain just because they have things. You know what I mean? Just because they have riches and fame. I mean, look at Meghan Markle and them, Meghan Markle and Harry. You would think they had it all. They're prince and princess and all this stuff, and have, you know, they had their own house. They were basically being funded by that population of individuals, and they still weren't happy. I mean, literally, Meghan was thinking about taking her life, okay, based upon the documentary. That's another example. Thank God she had the strength to speak about it, but most people don't, because they're constantly rejected. People don't want to listen to that. And that's the problem, though. And even in this man's death, and I've seen it happen with all these cases, every time people pop in the chat, foul play. I'm like, here we go. Here we go. If you want to believe the foul play, then go ahead. But in reality, you're just disrespecting this man and his death, and you're literally denying this man's pain. It's as if his soul is floating around, because the people that are in this pain, their souls don't find rest, right? Even in the passing, their souls don't find rest. They're still in pain and agony. So he's floating around seeing these people talking about foul play. And he's still like, see, this is why I left in the first place. Because nobody ever wants to acknowledge my pain. This is why. Exactly. I did what I did. And that's what I'm saying. Like, we need to stop with the whole conspiracy theories and sit down and have a discussion about mental health. Some people deal with chemical imbalances. Some people have bipolar and they don't even get diagnosed, especially in the Black community. It's a huge issue. And that's why we're seeing a huge amount of self-conclusions, particularly in the Black community alone now. There's so many in the Black community because particularly that community, our community, we don't like getting help. We don't like getting therapy. We don't want to go get diagnosed. What if this man was also dealing with a chemical imbalance? And he, of course, being that pillar of strength in the Black community, especially Black men, y'all, Black men do not want to go to no therapist. It's not going to happen. Okay. But once we as a society start talking about this, we need to change. We as a society need to change. That is the problem. It's a society issue. Sorry, I got emotional. I'm just tired of people denying these individuals, these souls' pain, man. It's like frustrating. You're denying this man. He literally wrote a letter, okay? He's been paying, and even in his letter, he still did not tell what he was going through, because this man has been taught in the society, especially in particular in the Black community alone. He has been taught. He has been taught to be strong, to deny his pain, to be this pillar of strength, and to never show any vulnerability. And it's very emphasized in the Black community alone. If a Black woman or Black man cries, it's like people mock it. They're like, why are you crying? You know, they always assume that because you're Black, you have to be strong. So that's the sad part. So here's a photo here of Boss's brother. He came to the family home with flowers for his sibling's wife after hearing the news. So that's his brother. It's pretty sad to see his brother coming, showing remorse for the wife. Look, he just looks like he's just distraught. So he left behind siblings also. He then comforted another family member. So all the family member came. That was the grandfather. And those are his kids. It's just, and the sad part is he was talking about having more kids. But like I said, it could be one tipping point that literally drives the person over the edge. They had all these other pains and struggles. And then there's that one thing that just they've had enough. They've had enough. Is it right? No, we shouldn't. We should fight for our life. We should not. You do not get peace in the afterlife. You do not get peace in the afterlife. All that pain that you had when you left is still there. Okay? If not worse. That's why we talk about this, because the whole goal is to save lives, to create a safe place for people to come, to talk about their pain when we hear these stories, and to share the trauma and the pain of these individuals, because in this life, they didn't feel that they could share it. Because like we keep seeing in all these chats and everywhere else, people deny their pain. People think that because they have it all, they should not experience pain. In fact, when these people did try to come talk to people, they'd be like, man, look at you, have a house, car, family, you have all this stuff. You don't need to worry about that. Okay, there it goes, dismissing their pain. That's how it was in their life, especially with the celebrities, you guys. They get it even worse because they really don't want to go to a therapist or other places, because this stuff gets plastered all over the news, magazines, everywhere. I mean, look at Meghan Markle's situation. When she tried to write a letter to her father, that letter got plastered all over the place. So it's like celebrities have a extra weight of pressure versus the normal individual who can just privately go to a therapist or privately go talk about things they're going through. No, that's not how it is with celebrities. When they're going through stuff, everybody and their mama know. So it's even worse for them, because now they really feel buried away and they really have to hide this pain because they don't trust anybody. They're afraid that if they tell this to, such and such, that person's going to go leak it to TMZ. Okay. Now, there's been some speculations going around about him investing in the cryptocurrency. So I wanted to share that with you and just talk about what the family is saying. What this individual did here, he was the guy, Stefan here, who alleged that it was that DJ Twitch lost it all and everything with the finances. But I feel like Stefan was kind of doing this for his own selfish reasons, which I thought it was very distasteful, because as he's talking on the video, he turns around and makes it about himself and like saying, oh, give me my money. And he names out the person. I'm like, wow. So you just use this man's passing as a mockery to basically use it for your advantage. I found that to be very disgusting. I just thought that was a little insensitive. It was disgusting. And it was quite selfish that he tried to use this person's trauma and pain. This is why people do what they do. I'm saying people like this on the screen. And he gonna have the nerve to be like, pay me my money. It's like you literally use this man's trauma, his pain, his passing to make a mockery and try to use it to your advantage, your financial advantage. So let's hear what he had to say, y'all.
Yo, so just got off the golf course again. Still, RIP Twitch. And what I talked about earlier, you guys don't know what people are going through. People made investments. People do a lot of things. This is just a theory. People are awful. You know what I mean? Like people like Twitch are not awful. Twitch was amazing. Is amazing still. His legacy shall live on. But what if you invest in something that took your whole life savings, possibly? It gets rough. It gets rough. I don't want to speak too much on that, but here what I will speak to. Tracy Christian still haven't given me my money. And this is what I'm talking about. It's like, why? Because you got caught up You can't pay me my money in a trust account. I do not trust your account. I do not trust you, Tracy Christian. And I'm not going to kill myself. I promise you that. So pay me my money.
So basically, TMZ came out and the wife came out and she claims that it's a rumor, that it's not true, all this stuff. Who knows, guys? I don't know what financial stuff this man was going through. Like I said, he didn't share it with her. How does she know? How does she know? She would know. She looked at her account, but who knows, guys? The wife came out, said it was false. I still feel there was a lot of things he was going through, and I feel one of it was like losing that career that he found to be purposeful to him, and that was the Ellen show. Losing that career on top of whatever other issues that he had buried away. But this whole thing about the cryptocurrency thing, he allegedly he was not involved in that. Thank God, because a lot of people lost a lot of money for that. The wife says he was not facing any financial issues before taking his life, despite that theory. Let's see. She said his family. She said the family was fine regarding that. She says that sources with direct knowledge tell us it's false. Okay, so I don't know if the wife's saying that. It's a source with direct knowledge, whoever that is. See, this is the problem. They didn't say the wife said it was false. They're saying sources with direct knowledge tell us it's false. Stephen was not experiencing any sort of financial hardship in the time leading to his passing. What's more, our law enforcement sources say no one from the family has mentioned any sort of financial issues. But we don't know. Like I said, a lot of these celebrities, they keep things private. Okay. That doesn't mean we really know what was going on, period. But they keep a lot of this stuff private. And so we don't know really what's going on with the guy's finances. I don't really think it was the finances. I think it was that loss of purpose, loss of hope. He lost a very significant, monumental career. And on top of whatever other struggles this man had been facing. I went over that whole theory in the last video. That's really what I think it was from, man. I feel like this man, and especially that monumental age, he reaches the age of 40. He's now at a very significant time in his life. 40 is pretty huge. And now he looks back on his life and he lost one of the most monumental careers. I've never seen this man cry, okay? The first time I saw him cry was when the Ellen show ended. When the Ellen show ended. That was the first time. This man smiles every day, ear to ear. And the first time I seen him cry was the Ellen show. So I really feel like that was a significant part of his life. And he really broke it down. And we wrote that last video that we talked about when he said in his own words, he said how there would never be another show like Ellen's show. It was the best show in history. He was like using very grandiose words. I missed the show. You know, that was how I spent my afternoons. Well, now he has all this time, free time at home now. He's at home. He has to think about all those different worries that he kept buried away because now he's home alone. Kids at school. He's alone with his thoughts, which is a breeding ground for depression. And all these theories and stuff. The man wrote a letter. Y'all need to stop with all the theories. Leave it alone. Let this man rest in peace. At least acknowledge his pain and his passing. Do something. Sit down and research what mental health is. Research it, because that's the lack of understanding that we have in society. And so people don't understand it. So then they're like, oh, it has to have been foul play. Somebody broke into his hotel when he was asleep and they put him in the bathroom. They gave him the firearm. They put it in his hand and they ordered him to pull the trigger. That's what happened. Like, stop. Then they made him write the letter. All you're doing is you're making it hard for the family because now they got to start thinking about these theories. They can't get closure. Actually, we heard from a family who dealt with this. Chesley Chris' parents. They came out and they spoke about it. You got to watch my videos on that. They came out and they spoke about it. And they said they got frustrated when they lost Chesley because they kept hearing all these dumb conspiracy theories about their daughter being taken and unalived. And it really brought them so much grief and agony because they already knew the truth. The daughter had sent a long thesis letter, basically via text, about why she did what she did. She had prior history of trying to do it before, which led her into the hospital for 8 days. The parents already knew, and I kept explaining to people, the parents already know why. If this was really a foul play, I guarantee you that the parents would have been protesting. We see these crimes all the time when sometimes the officers do get it wrong and say it's a self-conclusion, and you hear the parents out there protesting like, no, you need to look back into this. This is wrong. Da-da-da. No, because there are usually some small signs. And when this family looks back, they don't see it now because they're in complete shock. When they look back, they'll notice little small signs that, in my opinion, I don't think Twitch explicitly explained that he was going through things until the very end when he wrote the letter. But you could see small little signs, little small clues. And as this is sad, but as this parents and the family, and they start really thinking about it and looking back, they're going to be like, oh man, I remember that time when he did A, B, and C. And oh yeah, when he said that one comment that I didn't understand what he meant. Oh, that's why, he was going through something. So we need to just stop with the theories, stop with claiming this person is just somebody broke into his hotel and all this stuff. People coming up with all these outlandish stories. He had a secret life, if you know what I mean. Like, people just, I'm like, leave this man alone and let him rest. If you don't know what's going on, research mental health. Look at what it means. Look up the different things people go through. Chesley Christ's story really did highlight one of the key issues we deal with in our society, and that's high functioning depression. That is where you can literally go about your day, work a busy career, smile, look like you are just living on top of the world. But in reality, behind closed doors, you're broken, depressed, and exhausted. And let me share with you, I wanted to share with you guys what a person really, really brought forth of what I've been telling you, because there is a little voice that you will hear when you start getting these thoughts. It's a voice, and the voice is of Satan. The word of God says, the thief comes to kill, steal, and to destroy. And so what he does, his purpose is, he loves self-conclusions. It's very demonic, guys. He does. He'll go into your mind and he will start tormenting you with these thoughts. And people didn't believe me, because a lot of people that don't believe in religion and stuff in the spiritual world, but it is true. And I will share with you in exact words of someone who has experienced self-conclusion thoughts, and they talk about the little voice. That little voice is Satan. That is Satan. He speaks to you. He torments you with these thoughts, things that you've dealt with in your past. He'll bring them back to your memory. He'll tell you how life is hopeless and how everything will be okay once you end your life, which is all a lie. But let me share this exact words from someone, because I found this in a comment on a YouTube channel. And I was like, I need to copy this, because I want to share this with my viewers about that little voice that I've been telling them about, because nobody understands the little voice. But here, this young lady said, a week ago, I admitted to a friend that I myself had thought about self-conclusion, but she used the other word, guys. I just changed her word. She said, and she told me that self-conclusion is that little voice that tells you to end it all. I decided to speak candidly regarding this to my other friends. And what do you know? That little voice gets around and works hard. Since then, my life has gotten better. We all decided to keep moving and work hard. Life's not easy, but death is not the answer. And this young lady, when I saw that, I was like, I have to share this. I'm going to save this, and I'm going to put it on I'm going to lock it in my phone, because when I go over these stories, I'm going to share that same quote, because it's true. There is a little voice. That little voice is Satan's voice, and he comes to kill, steal, and destroy. And he does get around. He floats around, and he torments people with depression and hopelessness. And you have the power. You have the choice to either listen to that voice of hopelessness or listen to the voice of God and move forward and choose your life and fight for your life, because it's literally a battle between you and the enemy and that little voice who's trying to get you to give up on your life. And that's why these stories are very imperative to talk about. It's very painful to talk about and causes a lot of just a lot of emotions, because It's as if you can feel, well, I can feel. If anybody's an empath in the chat, let me know. You guys know what it feels like to be an empath. It sucks. But anyways, when you're an empath, you literally can feel the pain and agony of the person, what they're going through. And so it does take a lot of energy to talk about these. But I feel it's important, and it's a purpose to do this, because they did not feel heard when they were alive. They never felt heard. So it's like in their passing, this is their opportunity to be heard. And for the first time, they could actually be free to say how they feel. And that's why a lot of them write these self-conclusion letters, because that's like the only time they've really been open about it. And that's what Twitch did. It is so sad. And until people acknowledge this man's pain, there will never be closure, because all these theories keep floating around. Instead of pushing a theory, go sit down and research what mental health is, what depression is, what people go through, the stigma related to depression in our society. Educate yourself, because it's the lack of understanding is what's causing the problems. It's that. So sorry, guys. I had to go over that. I had to come back and go over some of the clarities. He did leave a note, which is somewhat relieving, because at least the family has some type of answer. Although he didn't really specify what those challenges were, he still left it very vague, because again, this man wanted to carry on this pillar of strength that he's always had. And even in his passing, he still tried to carry that pillar of strength. So may this beautiful soul rest in peace. I pray for God to just, I pray he gets some type of peace, because in the afterlife, there is no peace after that. When you die in agony, you live in agony in the spiritual world. You don't get away from it. People think, oh, I'm in my life and that's it. No, there is another afterlife. All right, guys, I love you. Take care and fight for your life. You matter. Your life matters. Your future matters. Take care.